Welcome back to Fact Fusion Sleep Science. Tonight, we embark on an even deeper journey, a profound voyage through the very heart of our own incredible home, Earth. In our last exploration, we drifted through the cosmic beginning, witnessing the birth of the universe, the incandescent forging of stars, and the creation of the very elements that became everything. As you gently allow your body to settle into absolute comfort, feeling the weight of the day effortlessly lift away from your shoulders, releasing all tension, all concern. And your breath deepens, naturally, slowly, flowing like a quiet, gentle river, a constant, calming rhythm. Prepare now to softly, effortlessly drift into the deep, ancient story of our planet, a narrative woven through billions of years of silent transformation. Imagine the scattered dust and gas, the cosmic remnants left behind from ancient exploded stars. Tiny specks of carbon, whispers of oxygen, faint traces of iron and silicon, all swirling slowly in a vast primordial disk around our young, nascent sun. These were the very building blocks, the cosmic clay, patiently gathering, destined to become something magnificent. Approximately 4.6 billion years ago, drawn by the relentless, silent pull of gravity, these tiny particles began their long journey of accretion. Dust grains gently clung together, becoming pebbles. Pebbles coalesced into rocks, and rocks, through countless soft then powerful collisions, slowly, inexorably, grew larger, steadily accumulating more and more material. This was the silent, patient construction of our planet, growing from a diffuse cloud into a dense, solid sphere. The impacts were constant, immense, releasing unimaginable heat. Our Earth was born as a molten sphere, a fiery, glowing orb in the nascent solar system. Too hot for anything solid to exist, it was a swirling cauldron of liquid rock, brilliant red and orange, continuously stirred by colossal impacts, slowly, patiently beginning to organize itself under its own immense gravity. This was the Hadean Eon, the fiery dawn of our world, a time of profound, incandescent quietude. Within this primordial inferno, a profound differentiation began. Like oil and water slowly separating, the immense gravitational pull at the planet's core began to draw the heavier elements inward. Iron and nickel, dense and metallic, silently sank towards the planet's very heart, forming a colossal, molten core, a vast swirling engine of heat and magnetism. Lighter silicates and other elements floated upwards, gradually forming the Earth's mantle, a thick, viscous layer of slowly churning rock. And eventually, as the surface began its long, deliberate cooling, the very first thin, fragile crust appeared, like a delicate skin on a boiling kettle, constantly fracturing and reforming under the immense internal heat. Then, in a cosmic ballet of immense scale, perhaps 4.5 billion years ago, a colossal impactor, a Mars-sized body, gently brushed against our young Earth. This was no destructive collision, but a glancing blow, yet powerful enough to eject a vast ring of molten rock and debris into orbit around our nascent planet. Imagine this fiery halo of material, slowly, patiently coalescing, drawn by its own gravity, forming a new celestial body, destined to become our closest companion in the night sky. This was the silent, majestic birth of our moon, forever stabilizing Earth's tilt, influencing its tides, and lighting its nights. A cosmic dance that left our planet scarred, but set the stage for its future. The early Earth, still intensely hot, began its long, slow process of radiating this immense heat into the cold vacuum of space, allowing its surface to cool just enough for the first fragile crusts to begin to solidify. Even in this turbulent, fiery realm, the cooling continued, slowly, inexorably, over millions upon millions of years. As the surface gradually solidified and radiated its immense heat into space, the vast amounts of water vapor held within the dense early atmosphere began to condense. Imagine clouds, thick and dark, forming across the entire planet, pregnant with the promise of rain. And then the rain began. Not a gentle shower, but immense, ceaseless downpours, lasting for thousands, even millions of years. This ancient, endless rain slowly, patiently carved the landscape, eroding the newly formed rock, filling the lowest basins, gradually creating the first vast, warm oceans. These were the primordial seas, born from cosmic dust and ceaseless, purifying rain, slowly transforming the planet's surface from barren rock to shimmering water. These early oceans were rich with dissolved minerals, a thick chemical soup, constantly stirred by the remaining volcanic activity beneath the waves, often near deep-sea hydrothermal vents. They were dark, deep, and silent, slowly covering a scarred but cooling world. The heavy atmosphere, still laden with carbon dioxide and methane, trapped immense heat, creating a warm, humid environment, even as the planet settled into its new state. The immense pressures at the bottom of these seas, the steady flow of currents, the slow absorption of atmospheric gases, all contributing to a new equilibrium. Our Earth, once fiery and barren, was slowly, patiently beginning to embrace the element of water, becoming a blue marble in space, preparing for a future that was still eons away. Feel the profound, patient transformation as a watery shroud descends over the glowing surface, bringing a quiet calm. With the oceans formed, calm and deep, the stage was set for a truly profound transformation. Approximately 3.8 to 3.5 billion years ago, within these warm, mineral-rich waters, often near protective hydrothermal vents deep beneath the surface, sheltered from the harsh radiation of the early sun, the first whispers of life began. Not grand, complex forms, but tiny, single-celled organisms, simple and resilient, arising from the very chemistry of the planet. This was the Hadean Eon, a time of microscopic revolution. These earliest life forms, perhaps resembling simple bacteria and archaea, thrived in the deep, quiet oceans, far from the remaining surface turmoil. They slowly, patiently began to harness energy. Some from chemical reactions drawing on Earth's internal heat, others from the sun's faint, filtered light through primitive, inefficient forms of photosynthesis. Imagine this hidden world, a bustling, invisible ecosystem of countless microscopic lives, constantly moving, dividing, adapting. They were silent pioneers, slowly, patiently figuring out the fundamental processes of existence, how to draw energy, how to replicate, how to survive in a challenging, ancient environment. These were the very first ancestors of every living thing that has ever existed, including ourselves. Their collective actions, though individually microscopic, would eventually reshape the entire planet. They were the silent architects of change, working tirelessly in the unseen depths, laying the groundwork for the most profound transformations to come. The Earth was alive in its most rudimentary form, already teeming with quiet purpose, its deep waters nurturing the seeds of all future existence. Over immense stretches of time, as the Hadean Eon quietly continued, a silent, invisible transformation began to alter the very breath of Earth. As early life forms, particularly photosynthetic cyanobacteria, became more abundant and efficient, they started to release a new byproduct into the oceans and atmosphere. Slowly, painstakingly, oxygen began to accumulate. It was a gradual, quiet, but monumental shift known as the Great Oxidation Event. Imagine tiny, microscopic beings working tirelessly, invisibly, changing the very chemistry of an entire planet. In the oceans, vast quantities of dissolved iron reacted with this new oxygen, causing the water to literally rust, forming immense bands of iron formations that settle to the seafloor, layer upon layer, for hundreds of millions of years. Feel the quiet sedimentation, the slow building of new rock beneath the waves, coloring the ancient ocean beds red. As the oceans became saturated, oxygen slowly began to bubble into the atmosphere. The early Earth's atmosphere, once devoid of free oxygen and thick with gases like carbon dioxide and methane, was now being subtly, irrevocably transformed. This new atmosphere, slowly growing richer in oxygen, was a profound shift. For much of the existing life, oxygen was a toxic poison, leading to the planet's first great extinction event, as anaerobic life struggled to survive in this new oxygenated world. But for the nascent life forms that could tolerate or even utilize oxygen, it opened up vast new possibilities for energy production and evolution, paving the way for more complex life. The sky itself, once a murky, dark veil, began its slow journey towards the clear blue expanse we see today. The planet was breathing, for the very first time, a new kind of breath, preparing itself for the complex tapestry of life that would eventually flourish. For nearly 2 billion years following the Great Oxidation Event, as the Proterozoic Eon unfolded, from 2.5 billion to 541 million years ago, life remained largely microscopic, but it evolved profoundly. This vast expanse of time saw the patient assembly of the building blocks for greater complexity. Single-celled life forms diversified, learning new ways to survive, to thrive, to interact in ever more intricate ways. Then, a new leap in evolution occurred, a silent revolution at the cellular level, the emergence of eukaryotic cells. These were larger and far more complex than simple bacteria, with specialized internal structures like a nucleus and mitochondria, allowing them to harness energy more efficiently. They were the ancestors of all plants, animals, and fungi. Imagine this tiny, invisible world, bustling with unseen innovation, life constantly adapting, ever seeking new, more efficient forms of organization. During this eon, Earth itself underwent dramatic geological changes. The thin, early crust had by now developed into sturdy continental plates, which began their majestic, slow dance across the planet's surface. Over immense spans of time, these continents drifted together, forming the first true supercontinents, colossal landmasses that unified much of Earth's crust. Imagine these massive landmasses slowly, imperceptibly converging, colliding with quiet force, building ancient mountain ranges that would eventually erode back into the sea. This was a cycle that would repeat over geological time, continents assembling, then slowly breaking apart, driven by the ceaseless currents within Earth's mantle. Feel the immensity of these slow, silent geological forces, continuously reshaping our home, a quiet, powerful dance of land and sea. Life in the Proterozoic also experienced profound climatic extremes. Approximately 720 to 635 million years ago, Earth underwent several dramatic periods of intense cold, known as snowball Earth events. Imagine vast ice sheets kilometers thick, advancing relentlessly from the poles, covering much of the planet, perhaps even reaching the equator. A world entirely encased in ice, silent and frozen, stretching across oceans and continents, reflecting the sun's light back into space. Yet even beneath this icy shroud, in protected pockets of open water near volcanic vents, or in cracks within the ice itself, life persisted in the deep oceans, clinging on, waiting for the thaw. These were immense, slow cycles, demonstrating Earth's incredible resilience and its capacity for dramatic transformation. The planet would freeze over millions of years, driven by subtle geological forces like the drawdown of carbon dioxide, then slowly thaw, as volcanoes eventually released enough greenhouse gases to melt the ice, each cycle preparing it for the next great burst of life. The long periods of glaciation likely acted as a powerful evolutionary filter, driving the development of new survival strategies and paving the way for more complex life. As the ice retreated, the oceans were flooded with nutrients, fueling a new burst of biological activity. The planet was preparing for a grand awakening. Towards the very end of the Proterozoic Eon, after the Great Glaciations, approximately 600 to 541 million years ago, a truly revolutionary development occurred. The first simple, soft-bodied multicellular organisms began to appear. These were not yet complex animals as we know them, but delicate, unarmored forms, often resembling fronds, discs, quilted mats, or segmented worms. Imagine these strange, ethereal forms, slowly, patiently exploring the shallow ocean floors, gently absorbing nutrients from the water. These were the Ediacaran biota, the earliest hints of the incredible diversity that was soon to emerge. Creatures that looked very different from anything alive today, yet represented the earliest experiments in multicellularity. They were silent pioneers, living in a world without predators, without the need for hard shells or rapid movement. Their quiet existence marked a pivotal moment, a transition from a world dominated by single cells to one where larger, more visible life forms could begin to take shape. The Earth was like a quiet canvas, its background colors set, its ancient waters teeming with the promise of more complex life, awaiting its most vibrant brushstrokes. Life had spent billions of years learning to survive, to make oxygen, to organize into complex cells. Now it was ready for its next great leap, visible, diverse, and ultimately complex forms that would fill every corner of the planet. Feel the calm anticipation of this great biological awakening, a planet patiently ready for its next act. Then, approximately 541 million years ago, came the Cambrian explosion, a moment of astonishing biological diversification when complex, multicellular life forms suddenly burst onto the scene in the oceans. It was as if life, after billions of years of silent, microscopic work, suddenly acquired the blueprint for rapid innovation. From simple, soft-bodied creatures suddenly emerged beings with shells, exoskeletons, spines, and segmented bodies. Imagine the silent seas, once home only to microscopic forms, now alive with a kaleidoscope of creatures. The armored trilobites scuttling across the seafloor, the fearsome, alien-like anomalocaris swimming through the water, filter feeders anchored to the seabed. The oceans teemed with new, intricate life, vibrant and thriving. This was a profound acceleration of life, a magnificent bloom of biodiversity, setting the stage for everything that would follow. The basic body plans for almost all modern animal groups were established during this relatively short geological period. Life was exploring every possible form, every niche in the bountiful oceans. Through the Ordovician and Silurian periods that followed, marine life continued to diversify. The first true fish appeared, including those with primitive jaws, swimming with silent grace. Reefs began to form, built by corals and other marine organisms, creating vast, complex underwater cities, humming with unseen life. The oceans were now vibrant ecosystems, filled with a quiet rhythm of life, constantly evolving, constantly adapting to the changing planetary conditions. Feel the deep, silent currents of these ancient seas, cradling an ever more complex world. Over the long stretches of the Paleozoic era, life slowly, cautiously began to move beyond the oceans, pushing into a vast, empty frontier, the land. The first pioneers were plants. Imagine simple green mats clinging to the moist shorelines, then gradually evolving specialized structures like roots and vascular systems to stand upright. These were the first land plants, slowly transforming barren rock into soil, creating the very first terrestrial ecosystems. Imagine these earliest green carpets, absorbing sunlight, patiently converting the carbon dioxide-rich air into oxygen, softening the rocky contours of the continents. Their slow, persistent growth began to change the very atmosphere and the surface of the land, preparing it for animal life. And then came the animal pioneers. First, arthropods, the ancestors of insects and spiders, taking their tentative first steps onto solid ground, adapting their exoskeletons to support themselves outside of water. Imagine the gentle rustle of ancient plants and the soft, almost imperceptible scuttling of these early terrestrial creatures exploring the newly greened landscapes. The air itself was changing. With plants colonizing land, vast amounts of oxygen were continually being pumped into the atmosphere, creating a world increasingly suitable for larger, more active life. The Earth was literally breathing new life onto its continents, preparing for an even grander diversification. During the Devonian period, often called the Age of Fish, another incredible leap occurred in the oceans. Fish diversified rapidly, and some evolved robust, fleshy fins that could support them on land for short periods. This was a crucial step, eventually leading to the first amphibians. Imagine a world where the boundaries between water and land blurred, where creatures slowly, patiently adapted to a dual existence, their bodies gradually reshaping to navigate both realms. The Carboniferous period, which followed, saw the rise of vast, swampy forests, dominated by colossal tree ferns, lycopods, and horsetails. These were not modern forests, but ancient, towering jungles, dense and humid, stretching across immense low-lying plains. Feel the warmth of the humid air, the quiet drip of water, the slow, persistent growth of immense vegetation. These lush, green worlds absorbed immense amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, creating incredibly high oxygen levels, perhaps up to 35% of the air we breathed, significantly higher than today. This oxygen-rich atmosphere supported the evolution of giant insects, like dragonflies with wingspans of nearly a meter, and colossal millipedes moving silently through the undergrowth. These ancient forests, over millions of years, would slowly be buried and compressed under layers of sediment, forming the vast coal deposits that fuel our world today, a silent testament to a time of incredible planetary greening and growth. This was also the time when the first reptiles evolved, freeing vertebrates from their dependence on water for reproduction, a quiet triumph that would lead to future dominance. Life was truly flourishing on land, slowly, patiently exploring every niche, each adaptation a quiet step towards the immense diversity to come.
Throughout the Paleozoic era, the continents themselves were not fixed. They moved, slowly, inexorably, driven by the deep currents within the Earth's mantle. Over hundreds of millions of years, these landmasses began to drift together, gradually forming a single, immense supercontinent, Pangaea, a colossal landmass, unifying the world's geography, albeit temporarily, from pole to pole. Imagine this vast, unified continent stretching across the equator, creating immense deserts in its interior and profoundly shaping global ocean currents and climate patterns. Feel the immensity of these slow, silent geological forces continuously reshaping our home, forging new mountain ranges as continents collided, then slowly eroding them away. A truly epic, silent construction project. As the Paleozoic era drew to a close, approximately 252 million years ago, Earth experienced the most severe extinction event in its history, the Permian-Triassic extinction, often called the Great Dying. A series of catastrophic volcanic eruptions in Siberia, known as the Siberian Traps, released vast amounts of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, leading to rapid global warming, ocean acidification, and widespread oxygen depletion in the oceans. Imagine the planet slowly undergoing a profound stress, the vast majority of life struggling to adapt to rapidly changing conditions. Up to 96% of all marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrate species perished in this quiet yet devastating event. It was a profound reset, a moment of immense loss, clearing the path for new forms of life to dominate the planet's story. But even after such immense catastrophe, Earth, in its profound resilience, began to heal. Life, clinging on in pockets, slowly, patiently, began the process of recovery and diversification. The stage was now clear for the dawn of a new era, dominated by different creatures, in a world subtly reshaped and ready for new beginnings. With the dawn of the Mesozoic era, approximately 252 million years ago, came the age of the dinosaurs. After the Great Dying, new forms of life rapidly diversified, filling the vacant ecological niches across the vast landmass of Pangaea. First in the Triassic period, then flourishing in the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, these magnificent creatures roamed the Earth for vast spans of time, shaping its ecosystems for over 160 million years. Imagine lush, primeval forests dominated by towering conifers, gigantic ferns, and cycads, their ancient foliage bathed in warm, humid sunlight. Hear the distant, muted sounds of colossal footsteps, the slow rustle of immense leaves, the quiet movements of ancient life. These were giants moving across a slowly shifting landscape, their presence dominating the land, unaware of the immense stretches of time their reign would encompass.
Through the Jurassic, the dinosaurs reached their peak in size and diversity, with long-necked sauropods grazing peacefully and agile carnivores moving stealthily through the undergrowth. In the Cretaceous, the last chapter of their reign, more specialized forms emerged, including horned dinosaurs and duck-billed giants. The air above the land was also coming alive. Flying reptiles, the pterosaurs, with their leathery wings, soared silently on ancient currents. And even more significantly, the first primitive birds took to the skies, small and feathered, chirping softly from the branches of ancient trees. The planet was now fully inhabited, from the depths of the oceans to the highest reaches of the ancient atmosphere. During the Mesozoic era, while dinosaurs reigned, the colossal supercontinent Pangaea began its slow, deliberate breakup. Immense forces from deep within the Earth, the same slow, patient currents that had assembled it, now gently, relentlessly pulled the supercontinent apart. Like a giant puzzle slowly coming undone, landmasses began to separate, creating new continents and oceans. Imagine the North American plate slowly drifting westward from Eurasia, the nascent Atlantic Ocean gradually widening between them. South America gently pulling away from Africa, creating a narrow new seaway that would eventually become the vast South Atlantic. India began its long, solitary journey northward across the ancient Deathus Ocean, destined for a future collision. This immense, slow dance of continental plates continually reshaped the Earth's surface, creating new coastlines, new mountain ranges along plate boundaries, and new seas. It was a cosmic ballet playing out over hundreds of millions of years, influencing ocean currents, climate patterns, and the evolution of life in profound ways. As the landmasses separated, new evolutionary pathways opened up, leading to diverse life forms on different continents. This era also saw the continued evolution and diversification of flowering plants, or angiosperms. Their vibrant colors and sweet scents began to transform landscapes, attracting new types of insects and animals, creating complex co-evolutionary relationships. The Earth was a canvas of constant, gentle change, teeming with diverse, evolving life, its landmasses slowly, patiently drifting towards their modern positions. Feel the profound, patient unfolding of this magnificent planetary history, a slow-motion dance of continents. Then, approximately 66 million years ago, a cosmic event of immense scale brought an abrupt yet silent end to the reign of the dinosaurs. A massive asteroid, perhaps 10 to 15 kilometers wide, gently yet powerfully impacted Earth near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The immediate aftermath was cataclysmic, but the long-term effects were a profound, quiet reset. Imagine the silent settling of dust and debris, the gradual clearing of the atmosphere, allowing sunlight to slowly filter through once more. The great dinosaurs vanished, along with many other marine and terrestrial species, clearing the path for the Cenozoic era, the age of mammals. Survivors, often small and burrowing, diversified rapidly, filling the ecological niches left vacant. Mammals, which had lived quietly in the shadow of the dinosaurs for millions of years, now began their incredible evolutionary journey. They evolved into a myriad of forms, from tiny shrews and rodents to larger, more familiar animals, adapting to every environment: forests, grasslands, and eventually even the oceans. In the early Cenozoic, the Paleocene and Eocene epochs were characterized by warmer climates, with lush forests extending to the poles. Mammals grew larger, explored new adaptations, and slowly, patiently diversified into the incredible array of species we see today. This was a time of immense growth and adaptation, leading to the rich biodiversity of life on Earth, a quiet renaissance after a global reset. As the Cenozoic era unfolded, the continents continued their slow, steady drift, gradually settling into their present familiar positions. This ongoing continental movement led to immense geological activity, a grand, silent sculpting of the Earth's surface. Imagine the Indian subcontinent, having traveled for millions of years across the ancient ocean, gently yet powerfully colliding with Asia. This slow, relentless pressure patiently pushed up the magnificent Himalayan mountain range, creating the highest peaks on Earth, a silent, monumental construction project that continues even today. Similar quiet collisions formed the mighty Alps in Europe and the Rockies in North America. Feel the immense silent power of these forces, shaping the very surface of our world. Alongside these geological transformations, ecosystems continued to evolve. As the global climate slowly cooled and became drier through the Oligocene and Miocene epochs, vast grasslands began to expand across the continents, particularly in North America and Africa. Imagine endless plains stretching to the horizon, swaying gently in the ancient wind. These expanding grasslands provided new habitats and new food sources, driving the evolution of new mammalian forms. Herbivores adapted for grazing, and carnivores adapted for hunting on open plains. This was also a period of significant evolution for our own ancient ancestors, the primates, as they slowly diversified and began to adapt to changing environments. The planet was continually refining its surface, creating new stages for life's ongoing drama. Then, approximately 2.6 million years ago, Earth entered a dynamic period of recurring ice ages, known as the Pleistocene epoch. Vast sheets of ice, kilometers thick, advanced and retreated across the continents, particularly in the northern hemisphere. Imagine these colossal glaciers, slowly, silently, grinding across the land, sculpting valleys, carving out vast lake basins like the Great Lakes in North America, and depositing immense amounts of sediment. Feel the immense weight and slow, deliberate movement of these icy giants, reshaping the very contours of the land. These cycles of glaciation and warmer interglacial periods profoundly influenced global climates and sea levels. During peak glaciation, so much water was locked up in ice sheets that global sea levels dropped by over 100 meters, exposing vast continental shelves and creating land bridges, such as Beringia, connecting Asia and North America. This was also the era of the megafauna. Immense mammals adapted to cold climates, like woolly mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths, and saber-toothed cats roaming the icy plains. Imagine these magnificent creatures moving slowly across the tundra, their breath misting in the cold air. The planet was in a state of constant, rhythmic change, a vast natural pendulum swinging between warmer and colder periods, each swing leaving its indelible mark on the landscape and the life it supported. Feel the patient endurance of Earth through these immense cycles, always adapting, always evolving. The last major glacial period began its retreat approximately 11,700 years ago, marking the beginning of our current geological epoch, the Holocene. The glaciers receded, sea levels rose, and the world slowly warmed into the comfortable interglacial period we enjoy today. Imagine the vibrant green spreading across once frozen landscapes, forests returning, rivers flowing freely, and ecosystems thriving in the new warmth. This period has seen the rapid diversification of modern life, filling every available niche. During this relatively short geological span, our own species, Homo sapiens, has risen to prominence, developing agriculture, building civilizations, and significantly shaping the planet. While human activity represents a mere blink in Earth's deep time, it is a testament to the incredible potential of life that began as a single whisper in a primordial ocean. Feel the profound, ancient story held within the very ground beneath you. Every rock, every mountain, every drop of water holds echoes of this deep past. You are a part of this living planet, connected to its geological rhythms, its biological history, its endless journey through time. The Earth beneath you, supporting you, is a culmination of billions of years of silent creation and transformation. Your very atoms, the countless, tiny building blocks of your unique being, every particle of your physical form, once resided in the fiery, pulsating hearts of ancient, long-vanished stars. You are literally made of stardust, repurposed over billions of years, a living, breathing piece of this cosmic and planetary history. Every single element in your body, from the iron in your blood that carries oxygen to the carbon in your cells that forms your very structure, has journeyed through the cosmos, across eons of time and unimaginable distances, through stellar furnaces and nebulae, through the incredible formation and transformation of Earth itself, through the evolution of life in its myriad forms, to become a part of the unique, precious, miraculous you resting here today. Feel deeply connected to this infinite universe. Feel profound calm. Feel utterly secure and profoundly relaxed as you gently, effortlessly drift into the deepest, most peaceful sleep. Tonight, rest deeply, truly deeply, knowing you are intricately connected to everything that exists. Your atoms, your breath, your heartbeat, all of them born from ancient cosmic stardust, part of the universal flow, part of the endless cycle, part of the miracle of life itself. Sleep peacefully now, cradled within this cosmic expanse, held by the gentle forces of the universe, knowing you are exactly where you belong, a cherished and vital part of the grand design. You are a living, breathing testament to the incredible, unfolding universe, a brief, luminous moment in its endless, silent story. As you descend deeper into slumber, imagine the vast, silent stretches between galaxies, the slow, graceful dance of celestial bodies, the endless, comforting dark of space, pregnant with new possibilities. Let the quiet, ancient hum of the cosmos lull you further into rest. Drifting, floating, peaceful, connected, utterly safe. Allow the remaining whispers of thought to gently fade, like distant starlight. Surrender completely to the quietude, the stillness, the profound calm of the cosmic night, as you drift into dreamless, restorative sleep. Deeper and deeper into the starlit dream. Thank you for sleeping with science. This has been Fact Fusion.